The following contest is the first third-round match in the Kings of Consoles tournament to determine the greatest game in the history of the Nintendo Entertainment System. 2 games enter, only one can advance. Introducing first, the 46th seed, a 1991 platformer from IREM, Metal Storm! And its opponent, the 14th seed, a 1985 racing game from Nintendo, Excitebike. Your ringside judges are Pat Dooley and Ricky Giraldo. There's nothing left to say but round 3, fight! Hello and welcome to episode 69 of Kings of Consoles. This is the podcast where we're trying to find the best game for each home video game console by means of giant tournaments. This is the first of our third round matchups as the number 14 seed in our tournament, Excitebike, takes on number 46, Metal Storm. I'm Pat Dooley.
And I'm Ricky Giraldo.
And yeah, last week was the end of round 2, which means we are down to 32 games left out of the 100 that we started with. And they're not all contenders going forward, but we have reached the point where we have separated the wheat from the chaff. This is the good stuff coming up. And I can't think of a better way to start it off than with these 2 games. We always start off these episodes by talking about the underdog, which in this case is Metal Storm, which is ranked number 46 on IGN's list of the 100 best NES games, which is how it got its 46th seed in our tournament. It is a 1991 action platformer developed by Tam-Tex and published by IREM. It was directed by Kengo Miyata, produced by Hiroshi Futami, programmed by Hikaru Yamashita, with a soundtrack composed by Toru Watanabe. It beat Double Dragon 2 The Revenge in episode 23, then Castlevania in episode 44. In the year 2501, a malfunctioning super laser on Pluto has malfunctioned and is destroying the solar system. An M308 gunner, a mech with the ability to control gravity, is sent into the facility to attempt to shut the weapon down before it can destroy Earth. The game uses some very advanced animation techniques for the era, including parallax scrolling, which involves moving elements in the background slower than the player character in the foreground to create the illusion of 3D space. The lowest price copy I could find on eBay that looked legitimate and wasn't being shipped from Russia was going for about $50 on eBay. There's also a factory sealed copy that's going for $1,995. Last year, a UK company called Retrobit released a collector's edition of the game that comes with a certificate of authenticity. Only 3,000 were made. So it comes with that certificate of authenticity, an M308 gunner pin, artwork, a 2-sided poster, and yes, an M308 gunner figurine. It's for sale on Amazon for $76.44. Pat's birthday is coming up on August 23rd, and Ricky's is September 24th. Not saying those things are related, but they're also not related. Also not related, we have a coffee account, ko-fi.com.
Yeah, and we would like 2 copies, so please.
Yes.
Coffee, KOFI.
It's $152.88. We'll make for 2 very happy co-hosts. Really want that. This is the last game remaining for IREM, which I believe started the tournament with 3 games. I don't have that in front of me, but yes, this is the last IREM game standing. So it is one of 32. So the big question, now we have reached the point where going forward, we have played every game the same amount of time. Does Metal Storm, which we have raved about for 2 episodes, well, the 2 episodes where we actually talked about it, and then we've name dropped it in almost every episode since, does it still hold up after 3 hours?
And I would like to say yes. Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, like, at this point, we become a Metal Storm podcast. Like, we
basically, pretty much.
It's just the reason why we did this tournament, I feel, we found the hidden gem. We found the thing that a lot of people probably have not played.
Yeah.
But if they did, it could be up in their best games of all time. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what makes this game so good.
I feel like a big chunk of it, and we talked about this a little bit last week when we talked about Blaster Master, which was another game that has a really like big idea, like how you can toggle between driving the tanks, being on foot, the overhead view. There's all kinds of different ways of playing the game, but it doesn't quite land its big ideas. This does. This, like, you can tell that when they came up with this idea of let's make a Contra style run and gun platformer, but rather than just jumping, you can like walk on the ceiling. I'm like, okay, well, how can we do that most efficiently with the hardware we have in 1991? And they nailed it. Like, they got every little, it's almost perfect. It gets really hard in the later levels, which does make the subsequent playthroughs harder because like for me, I started on level 5 for this hour because that was as far as I made it last time. And level 5 is a hard place to pick up. That's a very hard level. But it's not because, like, I will say spoilers for next week, but I find some of the platforming in a game like Bionic Commando, which is another big swing, can get kind of frustrating because sometimes the bionic arm doesn't quite go where you want it to. I never felt like that in Metal Storm. I never felt like, oh no, I didn't want you to go to the ceiling. Like, the M308 does what I want it to do, and sometimes I just tell it to do the wrong thing and die.
That's the thing. I think it's because it's actually very responsive for the things the game does. Like, you would think there would be lag between you going with changing gravity, and it's great. It's not. It feels like you're playing. I mean, I think even Mega Man at this point has more lag.
Yeah, I would say there's definitely significantly more lag in like Mega Man 5 and 6 than there was in this.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's not like, I mean, the graphics for this game for the time is really good.
Yeah,
like the mech looks like a Gundam, like straight up. It looks like a Gundam. And I mean, maybe the levels aren't that like. I mean, no, they were pretty colorful too. I don't know. This game it totally shocked us, and I'm gonna say here, it's gonna be hard to beat. This game is gonna be hard to beat because every time we play it, the 3 times we played it, I wanted to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. When that buzzer goes off when the hour is up, I'm like, oh,
yeah, I'm like, I really try not to play it after, but it's like,
it's hard not to.
Really, and even Ryan O. Ryan O played it.
That's right.
And he agrees. He's like, this game is awesome.
It's fantastic. It is everything you want it to be, and without even knowing that that's what you want. Because you come into it like, what is this? I've never heard of this. Now, I had kind of an advantage because I had played it a little bit as a kid. Like, when I was 9 when it came out, I played it, and I remembered it being great. But then, 30 years pass, and I'm sure it's not as good as I remember. And I was right, because it's better. It's just so good.
It's cool. And there's this time around, I'm like, man, there's a lot of boss fights.
Yes.
Right? I was like, dang, everything's a boss. Every level is like a boss fight.
Yeah, even the ones that aren't like full-on boss fights, like the -1s and -2s, there's almost always like one major enemy at the end of the level before you can get through to the next, to get to the actual boss fight, which can be frustrating because you have limited health, and if you lose it before you go into the boss fight, well, I'm gonna get killed. Like, it's I can't take enough abuse here, and of course you do die. But yeah. So pity the poor soul that goes up against it, which in this case is And objectively, another great game. The number 14 seed in
Right.
our tournament, Excitebike, which is a racing game developed by Nintendo R&D and published by Nintendo as a launch title for the NES on October 18th, 1985. It was directed and produced by Shigeru Miyamoto, programmed by Toshihiko Nakago, with a score by Akito Nakatsu. I knew I was going to butcher that. Nakatsuka. It had a bye in the first round due to its high seed, and then it knocked off Dr. Mario back in episode 54. 17 games were included in the launch of the NES. This is one of only 2 that remain. The other one is possible opponent for whichever one of these games wins, Super Mario Brothers.
Oh
Super
my
Mario Brothers
gosh.
still has to face Star Tropics to get to the round of 16. But if it's Super Mario Brothers against Excitebike, that's the last 2 launch titles in the tournament against each other. We also played Duck Hunt, Ice Climber, and Kung Fu earlier in the tournament, but those have all since been eliminated. Kung Fu, incidentally, knocked out by Super Mario Brothers 3. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
The main
That was a good
character of
week.
the yes, it was. The main character of the game, Hobby, is one of the characters in a manga titled Hobby's Famicom Seminar, which ran from 1988 to 1990. I unfortunately wasn't able to find a ton of information about Hobby's Famicom Seminar. I just thought it was fun that the dude from Excitebike had a manga. There is an Excitebike themed track available as DLC for Mario Kart 8. It is one of 12 games from Nintendo that still remains in the tournament. And this one's for you, Medic Sloan. I've tried to find sales info for Metal Storm and couldn't. But for Excitebike, it sold 4.16 million copies, which makes it the 9th highest grossing game in NES history, behind only Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, Mario 3, the Nintendo version of Tetris, not the Tengen one we played in round 1, the international version of Super Mario Brothers 2, not the one the US got, The Legend of Zelda, Dr. Mario, and Zelda 2. As an aside, the top 10 sellers, including the number 10 game Golf, were all developed and published by Nintendo. The highest grossing third-party game for the platform was Konami's first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. I just thought that was interesting.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So, Excitebike. Last time we played this, back in episode 54, so 3-4 months ago, we both kind of lamented that we didn't spend a lot of time with the edit mode. Did you do any editing this time?
No, I mean I pulled around with some of it, but I did test it.
Yeah, I spent about the first 9 to 10 minutes of my time doing it, and it's
Yeah.
cool. Like, especially like for the era, for 1985, to be able to build your own track was amazing. So I, tried to look at it through that lens of, you have 19 different parts that you can, build your custom tracks with and then ride them, which is fun. So, I did the dumb kid stuff. I did a track that was, because the track pieces correspond to letters A through S. So I did, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, all the way up through S. I did one where I spelled Kings of Consoles. I did one where I spelled poop, 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 all the way to the end. And then remember when you would get a calculator? You might be too young to remember this, actually. Where you would take a calculator and you would type like 58008 and flip it over and it said boobs. Okay.
Yeah.
So in the vein of that, just because I was in my childhood brain while I was playing this, I also did a course that spelled out boobs are cool, man. So that was fun. Just getting to kind of horse around with it and ride. But there's not a ton of depth to it. So, I like I said, I gave it a good 10 minutes at the start of the hour just to give it time, because I didn't last time. I don't know about you, Ricky, but for me, I much preferred it in a 1 hour installment than I did 2.
Yeah.
This is a fun, just kind of pick up and play for short bursts. It's great for that. But 2 hours just kind of felt like a slog in round 2.
what I would say is that's just the problem with these racing games, and like when we played Micro Machines or
Rad
all the other ones.
Racer,
It's like
Cobra Triangle. Yeah.
those games I feel are made for either 2-player
Mhm.
or for a short 1-player, like maybe 2 races and that's it. You can't.
Mhm.
I mean, if you really love it and play more, but I don't know. There's nothing else to do.
Yeah. Yeah,
So that's why I was
that's
like,
pretty much
okay,
it. Yeah, there's only so many times you can, try to break your own record on a track, or, you know, and that's really all there is to this one, because there's no like, it's not like Mario Kart where there's like cups that you're playing for, or like, like a season mode, like in a more contemporary, like a NASCAR game or something. You're just
right.
you're just riding your motorcycle, or it's not really, I guess it's a motorcycle, like your
Yeah,
Moto
it's a
X bike on tracks with fun, you know, ramps and stuff, and mud pits. But yeah, it's not like, oh, I came in third in that race, I need to come in first in the next one to get my points back up. Like, no, it's like you come in fourth, you're doing the race over again. Even though there's not really, like, when you're doing time trials, there's nobody else out there with you. When you're doing mode B, there are a bunch of other bikes out there, but they're not really racing you, because you can come in first even with bikes in front of you, because it's based on your time. It's fun. It is very, very fun, but it doesn't have a ton of replay value. And I think that's what's going to wind up costing it here. We'll get into that in a little bit, as far as which game actually moves on. Although I do feel like we may have telegraphed it a little bit. But yeah, it's super fun. I feel like this is a 30-minute, 45-minute, maybe an hour worth of time investment, and then I'm ready for whatever's next.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's the downfall of this.
Mhm.
Honestly, going into it, I knew this game probably not going to move on to the next round, but it is a great game. This
Yeah.
game, we said it when the first time we played it. It's definitely, I think, the one that all the other racing games are trying to be.
Yeah. Yeah, really. I mean, the fact that this was a launch title and still
Yeah.
is this playable almost 36 years later is a testament to how great it really is, even if it doesn't quite hold up by the modern standards. Like, if I'm going to do a stunt riding type thing, I'd much rather do try the jumps in GTA 5, or dust off Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, and do tricks off of buildings, rather than the ramp that goes up and then cantilevers out over the mud.
Yep.
So yeah, I think we've. Oh, I did have one other note on Excitebike, just a frustration I had with it, where I don't know if you ever experienced this, but there are some obstacles where if you like wipe out at the base of them, you continue tumbling like up and over the obstacle and all the way back down, and you wind up losing like 10 seconds of time rather than the whatever 3 seconds that it usually takes you to get back on your bike after you wipe out.
Right.
That's very frustrating. Like, you land a jump like on another bike, and so you like tumble up and over. If it's a big obstacle, you're going to be tumbling a long time. Very frustrating.
Yeah, it does get hard.
Oh yeah.
Excitebike, after a couple rounds, you're like, dang, all right.
Yeah. Once you get to about the, I don't know, fourth-ish race on either a game A or B, it starts to get real hard.
Yeah.
But before we start talking about how far we made it, we should hear our old pal Rhino's theme song.
Who made it farther? Who made it farther?
All right. So Metal Storm. I mentioned that I picked up at level 5, because unfortunately the passwords for Metal Storm don't take you to specific stages. Like, I was on
No.
5.2 last time, but there is no 5.2 password. There's a 5 password. So I put that in to go back to where I was, and got stuck on the level 5 boss and never made it any farther.
So I forgot what password I was, so I just restarted the game.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was like, but that's fine with me. So I made it to 2-2. No, I beat the game once and I made it to like the next restart. Because once you beat the game, it restarts at different levels.
Yes.
So I made it to the second level in that difficulty.
So you played all the way through and then into 2-2 on your second playthrough?
Right.
All right.
I kind of went in. Yeah. I just speed ran. I was just like, I'm gonna shoot whatever and keep moving. Keep moving.
Wow. All right. Well, with those 2 points, you build yourself up a nice little 3-point lead. After 2 episodes ago, I tied things, or I took the lead 2 weeks ago, and now I'm right back to falling behind by 3. Such is life. Excitebike is a hard one to judge.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, you could have the points for this one because I did like 3 races and I was like, well, this isn't gonna change. So
So I made
and
it to the 6th track on A and the 5th on B, and then time ran out when I was on B.
I made it to the 4th in A, and I think I made it to the 4th in B too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are
I
the ones
didn't.
where it starts to get really tricky.
Yeah. Yeah, once I lost, I was like, yeah, let me go to the next one. It's like, let me.
let's play some Metal Storm.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Pretty much.
Well, we know that the winner of this matchup is going to face either Super Mario Brothers or Star Tropics in the round of 16. We do post on a couple of Facebook pages as well as our own Twitter, asking you, the listener, which game you think should advance. 56% of you said Excitebike,
Oh,
but
they just don't know.
they don't know.
They don't
We gotta
know.
tell them about it. Wow, that didn't come out right. I'm very tired. Yeah, it's got to be Metal Storm.
Yeah, it's Metal Storm. Trust me, listeners. If you only knew, once you get your hands on this game, you will be like, "Where is the remake? Where is
the remake, Irem?
Who owns this franchise right now? Who do we need to talk to?
Who owns the rights to Metal Storm? In fact, who owns the rights to Metal Storm?
The idea of just having a remake of this game and making it in modern times, it's just gold. I feel. I really, truly feel that if someone could do this, just update the graphics, same style, it would be a hit.
Yeah,
it would be a hit. At least an indie hit. It'll be one of those. It'll be like Hades, or I don't know, those other indie games that everyone knows and loves. But they're not like truly massive games, but it's just that good. It's just that good.
It's just so good.
Maybe.
No, IREM still exists.
Yeah.
IREM, they've changed their. In 1997, they switched from the IREM Corporation to IREM Software Engineering. They've got a website, irem.co.jp. Owns the rights to video games that were produced. So yes, IREM Software Engineering owns the rights to the video games that were produced by IREM Corporation and continued releasing new installments of the R-Type franchise.
And the crazy thing, guys, is that this isn't even their top game.
Yeah.
Like they barely talk about Metal Storm. Their head game is Kung Fu. Like that's the one that they still like.
Yeah, and to a lesser degree, R-Type. But
yeah, R-Type, yeah.
And hey, they went the Konami route In the 2010s, they largely abandoned the development of console video games in favor of software based on pachinko machines. So they're a wholly owned subsidiary of ISO Corporation, which was formerly now. So I guess
they make those machines.
Yeah. So irem.co.jp is their website. I'm looking to see now if they have social media. They do. Well, that's irem_recruit. I like to inform all those who are interested. Yeah. So, yeah, the company doesn't appear to have just a straight up Twitter handle. They do have a phone number listed on their website.
Oh, well, there you go. We're going to give them a
And
call.
a contact us form on the website. And a Facebook page. Which is also a recruitment site. So it's like they mostly use their social media for recruiting. So,
Interesting.
irem.co.jp. If you, like us, want more Metal Storm and think that it might remotely do any good to reach out to the people that own the rights, irem.co.jp. Probably nothing will come of it, but at least we'll be able to say we tried.
I'm going to start that hashtag, bring back Metal Storm. Let's do it, guys.
At irem_recruit. We want more M306. But in the meantime, friendly reminder, Retrobit made a collector's edition. It's on Amazon, $76.44. ko-fi.com/Kings of Consoles. My birthday is August 23rd. Ricky's is September 24th. Also, happy birthday, Malia. This episode is coming out on her birthday. So she will never listen to this, so she won't know I said it, but I will know I've said it. And now all of you will know I've said it. So I guess we should get into Rhino's question of the week, unless we have any other birthday announcements we need to make. What arcade game do you think needs its own port? I mean, a lot of like the true classic arcade games have been ported at least once, right? I mean, there's the Ninja Turtles arcade game, Double Dragon and Punch Out, and even like going back to the old schools, the Donkey Kongs and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much all of them.
Yeah. And a lot of them got like second lives on the Xbox Live Arcade, did a bunch of them, but I don't know that necessarily counts as a port. I mean, it is, but like not quite in the way that like Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game is, where like they adapt the game to the console rather than
it's just a ROM. It's just the same game, but nothing's changed to it.
Right, exactly. So for me, I've got two. The first one is the Simpsons game. I would love to see a console version of that.
Simpsons, like the arcade one, or
the side-scrolling where like Homer throws bowling balls and Marge hits people with a vacuum, which is a little sexist, and they'd probably want to update that.
Those guys,
that's the kind of thing you can do in a port.
Those are the same guys that made the X-Men one, right?
The X-Men was my other one.
See, they did. I don't know if you know this, but they did remaster the X-Men one.
Did they?
Yes, for Xbox 360 era.
Was that part of the? Interesting.
Yeah.
And I loved that game.
They updated the graphics. I mean, they didn't really update the graphics. It was still the same old thing, but they had like new menus,
Did they add characters, or was it still the same?
Nope, it was the same old, and they even kept Magneto's line.
Welcome to die.
Welcome to die. Yeah.
Nothing can move the blob. I love that game. And well, those would have been my two answers, except apparently one of them already was. So Simpsons. Yeah. That's my answer, Ryan.
So the game I would want Do you remember going to arcade and seeing the Lost World game? You
Oh,
go in the
yeah.
vehicle and you
Uh-huh.
close the blinds.
Yep.
That I want that game on a console.
Yeah.
We never got that game, and I
No,
get
we
it.
never
It's
did.
like even for the Wii, you would think for the Wii we would get it because you could, you have the hand motion controller.
Mhm.
But I love that game. I remember
Yeah.
my dad and I we stood at our. It's funny because we talked about arcades last episode,
Mhm.
but Boomers was one of our arcades. It's kind of like a Dave and Buster's before Dave and Buster's,
Yeah.
and
That's the place that
yeah,
has the laser tag and stuff like that you were talking
yeah,
about.
we
Yeah.
yep, we literally like for 6 hours just playing this one game trying to beat it, and we did.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
a
I
that's a
felt bad.
really great answer.
I felt bad for everybody else because we were just keep on. We were going. We were like, we're not getting out of here until we beat it, and we did.
Very
But
nice.
yeah, I want that game. I think
That would be great.
right.
That would be really fun. Yeah,
It's a
because I mean
classic
they've done
arcade
like,
game.
there's not a ton of that kind of rail shooter that have been ported. Mostly you get like the Gradius types. But I mean they've ported like House of the Dead and games
They
like
did.
that.
Yeah.
So there's no reason
I've
they
noticed
couldn't
they
do
don't.
Lost World.
There's also like the Terminator one they never
Mhm.
ported. The
Yep.
Aliens. Alien has they have a lot of new ones, and I'm guessing these games are really just made for arcade and guns. Like you do need the gun,
Right.
the rail gun, but But you're right. Like Time Crisis has been
Mhm.
ported. Even
Yep.
Silent Scope has been.
Yeah.
So it's kind of shocking. You would think out of a franchise big as like Aliens or Jurassic Park that they would do that, but
Yeah.
we never did.
Never did. Missed opportunities.
Really, that game was awesome. It was so good.
Yeah.
And because you were fighting a whole bunch of dinosaurs that weren't in the movie, so even
Yeah.
more. It's like, oh my god, the mess was over before it was in Jurassic World. What the heck is this thing?
Oh, speaking of dinosaurs and the Jurassic Park franchise, have you seen the trailer for the next Jurassic World?
No, I haven't.
It played before we went and saw
Fast
Fast and
9.
Furious last week.
Yeah, I didn't see. We went to the regular showing. We didn't go to the IMAX. So
Yeah, no, we did. We shot a wedding on Saturday, and it was our first one in months, and it was our first, hot one. And so we
yeah,
decided we were just going to spend, I have a lazy Sunday. Wake up in the late afternoon. Sorry, no, lonely hour. We have the AMC A list. We can
yeah,
see up to 3 movies a week. Doesn't matter what format. So we decided we were just going to use all 3 of our movies for the week that day and just spend the day at the theater.
that's
So
awesome.
we went and saw.
Hopefully, a Quiet Place too.
No, yeah, there's no way Malia would see that.
Damn it.
Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard,
Okay.
Peter Rabbit 2, and then Fast 9 or F9, the Fast Saga in IMAX. But anyway, so there was an IMAX trailer for the new Jurassic World, which the movie looked fine. It didn't, like you were talking about, like, oh, dinosaurs that aren't in the movies. Like
Right.
I geeked out a little because there was like an ankylosaurus that was shown walking around. But
I
the
know the
graphics
premise
of that.
it. Yeah.
What's that?
I know the premise. Like it was like a flashback,
Mhm.
right? It was like a flashback to like where they were alive.
Yeah, it's like it starts off like you see what you think at first is like an elephant leg, and then a mosquito comes and lands on it and bites it, and then like the camera pulls out and you realize like, oh no, that's a brachiosaurus, and there are dinosaurs everywhere, and it's like shot like kind of like a nature documentary but without any voiceover. So you see a couple of like styracosaurs, you see I think it's an allosaurus like picking a fight with a T-Rex, and just all kinds of various
It's
dinosaurs.
like
And then it
apparently it's
says
like
65 million years later, and then flashes to the new, the modern day. So
apparently
it's
that's
really
like
interesting, but it looked gorgeous in IMAX. It was so good. Like you could see individual hairs on the back of the T-Rex. It was very,
crazy.
very impressive.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And
long
F9.
rambling tangent.
F9, let me tell you, that movie, a lot of fun.
I love that franchise. Well,
I do too.
starting with 5, I love that franchise.
No, I love it. So my girlfriend and I, we started watching the Fast and Furious.
Mhm.
So it really does help watching them all
Oh,
before
yeah.
this one.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I was tearing up at one point in this. I was like, why am I tearing up? Like, what? And I the ending of the movie was so good. I love the ending. We'll talk about it later, Pat. But the
Yes, yeah, we
ending
will.
was
100%.
just so cool, man. I thought they did it good.
I
It's
agree.
crazy. It's probably not a really good movie, to be honest with you. It's not.
I mean, I have tried because I, was a film nerd, as
Yeah.
as an obnoxious 20 something, but as a grown ass man, I have tried to when I watch a movie, I try to view it the way that the filmmakers want me to view it. And I feel like the
Right.
people that make Fast and Furious movies just want me to have a good time. They want to show me explosions. They want to show me fast cars. They want to show me pretty ladies. They want to show me ridiculous stunts.
And pretty dudes. You can't forget there's pretty dudes there.
I mean, Tyrese is a good looking fella. It was just a really, it was a blast. It was so fun. I had like legit
really
laugh out loud moments several times in it. Just genuinely great jokes. And then, very satisfying, emotional ending. And yeah, good stuff.
It was good. It was fun. It was like,
really
it was like, honestly, it was like this. This would have been my first movie back in the movie theaters, but we gave in and we saw Quiet Place too, which another, like, you have to see that movie in the movie theater. You just have to.
I'm probably gonna just sneak away after work one day in the next couple of weeks.
Man, it is
just
so. It's just like you're in a movie theater and it's so quiet, and it's just perfect. Because when it gets loud and stuff happens, you're like, oh, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I had that experience watching it at home, the first one, but I can only imagine what that must be like on the big screen.
So
I love the first one.
Dude, I'm happy we could go to the movies again. That's all I'm saying.
Me too. I'm so excited because, I mentioned today, we're recording this about a week in advance because, we've both got, 4th of July plans and stuff. Just it made more sense to record this a week out. But I mean, I fully expect that part of Malia's birthday celebration this weekend is going to be going to see Black Widow.
Yep.
Because like it's a new MCU movie and we can see it in the theater. Not that I haven't loved WandaVision and Captain America and the Winter Soldier and Loki so far. But man, I miss that big screen and the pages flipping and the bum 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 bum.
I agree. It kind of sucks because I feel like this movie is going to feel outdated, but it's because which is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy because no other. I mean, we've been rewatching the Marvel movies too, and they don't feel outdated, but I don't know. We know where Black Widow ends up. We know, it's not going to really involve what's going on with WandaVision or Loki. So it's like, this is just, honestly, it's a big filler. Like, it's a big, like.
I suspect that the big thing we'll get out of this is that Florence Pugh is going to wind up in whatever the next version of the Avengers is as the new Black Widow,
the young Avengers.
Whatever that winds up looking like, because I doubt they'll ever do another just straight up Avengers movie. I think we'll get random team ups here and there, like
I think we're gonna get
madness.
I think we're gonna get another Avengers movie, but it's gonna be like your whatever Pugh's character is. You're gonna have Wanda's kids. You're gonna have
Kate as the new Hawkeye.
Shang-Chi. Yep. You're gonna have Shang-Chi probably up in there.
Yep.
It's just like the new not Miss Marvel.
Miss
Marvel. Yep. and probably Spider-Man. He's probably going to be the new
Probably Spider-Man. Yeah, will be the new Tony. That's
Tony. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and
hey,
then
they
you
could
have
even throw in
yeah.
She-Hulk if they wanted to involve more of
That's
the
crazy.
TV characters.
I can't believe we're having a She-Hulk show.
Me
But
either.
anyway, movies, games.
It's all good. This is the kind of quality content you tune in for.
This is it.
One-sided squash matches of video games, and then a half hour of talking about Fast and Furious and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Keeping on the trend of talking about arcades, next week we will see the number 41 seed in our tournament, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, as it takes on number 9, Bionic Commando. Those two games will battle it out for the second spot in our round of 16, the first one now having been taken by Metal Storm. I'm so excited about. We get to play Metal Storm again in
man.
a few weeks because the rounds are getting shorter and shorter because we've got fewer and fewer games to play.
Yeah, man, we're almost at the end. We're almost
there. We are getting there. By this time next year, we will be playing an entirely different console.
And then our Fast and Furious podcast begins.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Kings of Quarter Miles.
My Familia podcast.
Families of consoles.
Live or die.
Vin Diesel to record an intro. Probably not.
Right? Maybe. You never know.
Maybe.
We probably got to pay him a lot, though.
Probably. That's probably significantly more than $76.44. Which, by the way, is enough to buy a collector's edition of Retro Bits version of Metal Storm for sale on Amazon. My birthday is August 23rd. Malia's is today, but she doesn't care. And Ricky's is September 24th. I'm really hoping I got that right. It is the 24th, right?
Yeah, you're good, man.
Okay. Again, like I said in the intro, not saying those things are related, but they're also not related. ko-fi.com/Kings of Consoles. You can also see the bracket at challenge.com/Kings of Consoles, where at this point you can see the full list of 32 games. We won't have updated it yet by the time you're listening to this, as long as you're listening to it in the first week, because we're always a week behind on that, so as not to spoil whatever the new episode is. So when the Bionic Commando Ninja Turtles episode comes out, then you can see Metal Storm in the round of 16. That was the way it was playing. Facebook.com/Kings of Consoles. Kings of Consoles pod at gmail.com. We are at Kings of Consoles on Twitter, where you can find me at LoopyDate.
And me at Ricky G N7.
And yeah, we will be back next week for more round 3 action. Until then, make sure one of them is Metal Storm and play old games.
Play old games, everyone. And watch out for 9.
Kings of Consoles is recorded in Nashville and Orlando and is produced and edited by me, Pat Dooley. Thanks to Captive Portal for our theme song, intro for a non-existent video game, which can be found at freemusicarchive.org. And the music and sound effects from this week's games can be found with a quick Google search. The opinions expressed in this and every episode are our own, and we are in no way sponsored by or affiliated with Nintendo. We're just big fans.
Hello and welcome to episode 69. Nice. Of Kings of Consoles. This is the podcast where
Hold on. You can't. Oh, bro, you me up with that. You have to start that one over.